Just how dangerous is sugar anyways? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Tony with Big T Bariatric and I'm back at you with another video. Today it is Monday, May 15th. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you could do me a huge favor, look down below and see if you're subscribed to my channel right down there. And if it says you're not, please hit that button for me. Help me get to 6,000 subscribers. I greatly appreciate it. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video. So I've been covering a lot of fat acceptance stuff lately, so I thought I would do something a little different. All right, and so today I'm going to be reacting to a video from TED Talks, and it's called Sugar is Not a Treat. It's by Judy Stanzenlaw, who is, I guess, she's a doctor. She's a neuropathic doctor who has been studying the negative effects of sugar since being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 7, and she dives into how widespread negative effects of sugar are affecting us all. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation. And what I'm not expecting anybody's going to do as a result of this conversation is to just go throw out all the sugar that they have in their cupboards. I mean, sugar is so ingrained in everything that we do and every food that we eat. We can't even escape it if we try to eat healthy. But one of the biggest mistakes that they've ever done is try to prove that fat is why we got fat. And that's not it at all. Obesity really skyrocketed once we started cutting all the fat out of our diet and replacing it with sugar. And now what we eat, what we think is healthy, is so full of sugar, we don't even realize it. And there are hundreds of names for sugar out there. So even if you're trying to look for sugar and cut that out of your diet, if you don't know some of the other scientific names given to sugar and it's hidden in there as a hidden ingredient, you still don't know if you're eating sugar or not. So really, if you're somebody who is trying to exercise and lose weight, I think this video is going to be really important for you to help you realize the impact sugar has on our diet, on our lifestyle, and why it's so hard for people to lose weight and overcome food addictions when most of that food addiction is because of sugar. And then they say that sugar can be just as addictive as cocaine. So if you're trying to lose weight and you can't figure out why you're just struggling with it and you can't overcome it and why your cravings get so bad, it's likely the result of sugar. So we're going to watch this. We're going to react to it. I'm going to have to pause because TED Talks does try to copyright my stuff if we don't do it the right way. So let's get into it here.
Take a few moments to think about your most vital organs in your body. Those organs that you cannot live without. Okay, got them? Excellent.
All right, so before she goes into this, what is your most vital organs, right? You'd think about the liver, you'd think about the heart, maybe your kidneys, things like that. Those are pretty much the most vital ones that if you lost, that you could not survive with.
You probably thought about your heart. Mm-hmm. I bet brain popped into your mind.
Oh, didn't even think about the brain.
Lungs. But did any of you think, my pancreas? I can't live without my pancreas.
Yeah, I mean, if we were doing a list of the top organs that you can't live without, I think pancreas would probably be lower on the list than some of the other ones that we just mentioned.
I'm assuming most of you probably didn't. I am a naturopathic doctor, and I love educating people about the importance of the pancreas.
I didn't watch this yet, by the way.
Which is located right here, tucked behind your stomach, behind your left lower rib cage. Inside your pancreas is a small cluster of cells called beta cells. You only have 2 grams, actually. It's the size of like 2 almonds. Well, these life-giving cells surprisingly get no attention. Yet, if they were to wither away, in the absence of medical intervention, you would literally die within a few weeks. That is how important your beta cells are. You would die. Here's how they work. Anytime you eat sugar or highly refined carbohydrates, that sugar circulates in your blood from your head to your toe throughout your body. The beta cells are the security guards for your blood. And as soon as they see this rush of sugar, they send the alarm bells off. They call in a team of dump trucks to haul all that sugar out. Well, the dump trucks are called insulin. And insulin's job is to pick up all that sugar out of the blood and feed it to your liver, your muscles, or store it as fat.
See, this is very interesting because I actually had somebody explain it to me this way. That anytime you have sugar, it sends such a shock throughout your body that your body just is going to die unless it figures out a way of dealing with the sugar. Like, sugar is not something that we should be eating. But I mean, it's in everything that we eat. But our body thinks of it almost like a toxic thing, and it needs to get rid of it somehow. And so, like, the effects of eating sugar, like the way your blood sugar raises and lowers and all that stuff, like it's all because our body needs to get rid of it somehow. It's like the sudden rise in insulin or something. I'm going to let her explain it better than me, but yeah, the way somebody explained it to me before is that, your body's going to die unless it finds a way to take care of the sugar right away.
Because you don't want all that excess sugar hanging out in your blood. This seems pretty innocent, right? But here's the problem. Millions and millions today are overworking their security force. Overworking your beta cells doesn't happen with obvious foods like cake and ice cream, but it also happens with highly refined carbohydrate foods like yogurt and granola, cereal, bread, pasta.
And that's very interesting because a lot of people would think of things like oatmeal or granola or what was the other one that she mentioned? I don't remember, but things like that as healthy foods. Things that you would eat because, of course, they've told us for a very long time that you need to have a lot of carbohydrates in your diet. That's the bottom of the food pyramid, right? The whole grains and stuff like that. You should be eating granola. You should be eating cereal. You should be eating stuff like that. When really that has the same effect on our bloodstream and on our bodies as sugar does.
Alcohol, even when used in moderation. Anytime you eat these foods, your beta cells send the alarm bells off to make more insulin. And this is scary because just like anything that gets overused, from cars to computers, the parts eventually wear out, leading to beta cell burnout. This is another name for prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, which you really don't want to suffer from. Beta cell burnout can happen to anyone, and it has a lot to do with your food choices. As your beta cells weaken through the years, the blood sugar level starts to rise to a dangerous level, maybe even unbeknownst to you. If the beta cells get really weak and you don't pick it up, your diet doesn't change, you will likely need to take insulin injections every day for the rest of your life to stay alive.
Yeah, a lot of people who become obese end up having diabetes or even prediabetes. I was lucky that I didn't have any of that, but I still had some symptoms of it. I mean, I was never diagnosed with diabetes, but the fact that I got some dark skin around my neck and on my legs, the fact that anytime I do eat sugar, like I crash really hard, like that tells me that my body is still struggling with processing sugar.
But the good news is reversing beta cell burnout is entirely possible, just with a few small dietary tweaks and lifestyle changes, especially when caught early. I specialize in diabetes. I also am an expert because I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was just 7 years old. So the effects of sugar have been a lifelong study for me. Now, the cause of type 1 is very different than the pandemic of type 2 today that we're hearing so much about. In type 1, the immune system attacked and killed all of my beta cells and killed them. They're gone. When I was 7. Why it did this is still not understood. But as a result, without my beta cells, I take insulin injections every single day. And I've taken over 100,000 in my lifetime thus far. Living with type 1 in a way has been a gift, though, because I'm so motivated not to eat sugar. When I eat sugar, my blood sugar level skyrockets, and I feel awful. I get a headache, I feel cranky. If the phone rings, I don't want to get it because I'm irritable.
I think it's that way for a lot of people when you eat sugar. Like you just really, it sends you off like a rocket, and you're really hyper for a little bit, and then you crash down, and that's not a good feeling. I don't think most people enjoy that feeling, but we keep going back to the sugar because we get addicted to it, and we get that high, and then we get that low, and we crash. And when we crash, like, oh, I need another pick-me-up. Here's a little bit more sugar, and we kind of get addicted to this cycle. Before we know it, we're becoming obese, and then we need even more sugar, and then the more sugar we take, the more we crash, and on, and just like what she's talking about, those beta cells start wearing out, we get diabetes, and then we're like, okay, crap, now I need to take insulin. And if you continue not to take care of yourself, that leads to even more misery down the line.
And I just want to take a nap. Most people walk around oblivious to this direct correlation between what you've eaten and how you feel. So the negative effects on all of you living with beta cells, you're lucky enough to still have them, is much more subtle, but potentially just as deadly. The good news is, saving your beta cells is entirely in your hands.
I mean, that's an interesting thing, too, because they tell a lot of people, especially if you get weight loss surgery, that the results of losing a tremendous amount of weight is that it can reverse diabetes, and you can regenerate your beta cells and get them going again, and your pancreas can heal, and you can get normal blood sugars again. So it's very interesting that eating a bad diet and becoming obese can kill your beta cells and make you diabetic, but losing a bunch of weight can actually reverse that effect and cure your type 2 diabetes. I don't think type 1 can be cured, and it's not 100% that you're going to cure type 2 diabetes, but they're finding that a lot of people who do lose a significant amount of weight, they can cure their type 2 diabetes, or at least put it in some sort of remission to where things are working sort of normally again. And that's because, if you're eating foods that you don't need to worry about your beta cells, because you're eating whole foods, you're eating the good foods, you're eating more protein, so you don't really need to produce insulin as much. Like, that's really going to help yourself out quite a bit.
This talk wouldn't have applied even 10 years ago, when sugar wasn't added to everything that we eat, and it was just used as a special occasion. Are you aware that there are only 10 companies that own the entire world's food brands? And the reality is, the sweeter a food is, the more it sells. So when you eat sugar, you might immediately feel a rush of energy and kind of feel good. Think, wow, sugar makes me feel great. But the reality is, an hour or two later, if you pay attention, you'll likely feel zapped. You might not be able to concentrate, you might kind of want to take a nap, or you might want to eat more sugar. If we keep doing this over a lifetime, the beta cells get weak, the blood sugar level slowly starts to rise, and over time, high blood sugar causes heart disease, kidney failure, strokes, gangrene, blindness, Alzheimer's, lower limb amputation, depression, violent behavior, and more.
Yeah, all those things are the result of diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and probably type 1 as well. Like, when you're not able to produce enough insulin, even if you're giving yourself insulin shots, like, those things will get worse for you, because it's like your blood sugar, and you're not taking care of yourself, your blood sugar gets higher and higher and higher, and you're less likely to take care of it, even with insulin shots. And so, like, I know of many people, including my former stepdad, who died from lots of different issues. He essentially had a heart attack, but his legs were turning black and all kinds of just bad, nasty things. You're more likely to have leg amputation, like she was talking about, and just all these different things. Depression, violent behavior, like, it's all common, and it's resultant of sugar and our diet. Just commonly thinking about how much our food impacts our mood. It's like we can feel better because we're eating the right foods, or we can start feeling like crap and miserable all the time because we're addicted to the wrong foods. And that's where a lot of the mental anxiety and miserability, or whatever I call it, like, when I say you can't be fat and happy, like, this is part of it, because you're eating so much crap and so much garbage. How can you feel good about yourself? You just can't. Like, you're just down and low, because it's like it brings your mood down. It brings on anxiety and violent behaviors and depression and all that stuff. So it's like there's a direct correlation between obesity and miserability. I know that's probably a word I just made up, miserability, but it's kind of true. Like, there's a direct correlation between feeling miserable and being obese because of the food you're eating. But if you change that, you get a little bit of exercise, you go outside, you get in the sunlight, you eat better, you eat the foods that provide your body with the nutrition that it needs, like, you will start feeling better and your mood will pick up.
The amount of deaths caused by sugar, all of these afflictions combined, leads to more deaths than automobile accidents. Imagine that. At the rate we are consuming sugar today, sugar is not a treat. Ladies and gentlemen, at the rate we're consuming it today, sugar has become a gradual death sentence. But the good news is, like I said, this is a major problem that we have in our hands. My patient Pam, she was just freaking out. She thought something was entirely wrong with her. She goes, I'm just tired all the time. I feel good in the morning, but then I drag and I can't focus and I'm cranky. She goes, something is wrong with me. Will you check my thyroid? Do I have a brain tumor? Is that why I can't think? I said, Pam, before we run all those expensive tests, I just want to ask you, what do you have for breakfast? And she said, well, I have a vanilla latte, get a few extra pumps of vanilla because I love it, and then I have some zucchini bread. I said, well, okay, let me tell you something. Vanilla is syrup. You realize that, right? It's not the vanilla bean, it's the syrup. lots of sugar. And zucchini bread, you might as well call it zucchini cake. I mean, let's be real, okay? Zucchini muffin, whatever.
I mean, that's true because there's somebody at my church who makes the most amazing zucchini bread. All right, I had a slice of it today for breakfast because I didn't eat when I was at home. So I went to church. There was some zucchini bread there, and it was amazing. It was delicious. And you might think, oh, zucchini bread, that's not unhealthy. But let's say it was very sweet. So, I mean, there's a lot of treats like that that are full of sugar.
It's all cake. Muffins, they're just cake without frosting. So I said, before I run all these expensive tests, why don't you just start your day with protein? Let's just have a handful of eggs for breakfast, maybe some sliced apples with peanut butter. When you start your day with balanced blood sugar level, I think your energy is going to be a lot better. Just saying. 2 weeks later, I get an email full of exclamation points. Nothing's wrong with me. I feel great. I'm having protein for breakfast, and everybody's like, what have you done? You're so happy now.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason why a lot of people feel down and miserable throughout the day is because they start their day with sugar. Either it's a bowl of cereal, which is full of sugar, with milk in it, full of sugar. They have all these drinks, they have all the Starbucks, or they make their own coffee with creamer and sugar and stuff in it. Even the creamer is packed full of sugar. Or they get donuts, or they go to work and there's donuts there. It's like when you start the day with carbohydrates and sugars and stuff like that, like your blood levels are not going to be fine for the rest of the day. You're going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. And you're going to be tired in a few hours. You're going to need another pick-me-up. So what do? You go get another coffee that's full of sugar. Or you grab another donut. Or you grab some crackers or something, hoping that'll pick you back up. And then you crash again. But if you start your day with protein, like that's the best way to start your day. Not with any kind of carbohydrates with it. Just some protein, a couple eggs, something like that. Just start your day with protein and you'll definitely have a much better day.
Changing your life can be this simple. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. But I get it. It's so easy to fall into the traps laid by the $1.5 trillion processed food industry today. They label so many high sugar foods as healthy. Gummy vitamins, right? They're gummy bears. Let's not be, come on. Yogurts, many yogurts.
I mean, it's funny when people talk about all the money the diet industry is making, but I don't think it makes anywhere close to the $1.5 trillion processed food industry that's out there that makes a lot more money based upon making people fat versus the diet industry that's trying to help people get skinny. But let's face it, like a lot of those fad diet groups and stuff like that who make money off of people's obesity, like they're not really doing anything to cure obesity. Like they get people trapped into thinking, oh, this magic pill, oh, this new diet, this new way of eating, this new that, this new program will help you out. It'll help you lose weight. But it really doesn't because they're really stuck inside the processed food trap. And they just can't stop eating the sugar. Like, it's just impossible. So they think, oh, I can't lose weight. There's nothing I can do about it. So I'm going to go get this pill. I'm going to try this new exercise, this new diet, whatever. And it doesn't work because they still think that they can take this magic pill, that maybe this workout program is going to help them out when they're still eating like crap because they don't want to give up the sugar-filled diet. So it's like they keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's like, nothing's going to work because it all is about the diet. It's not about the exercise. The exercise is important. You can add that on top of it, but you can't outwork a bad diet. And I say that all the time on this channel. You can't outwork a bad diet. So if you want to lose weight, the best thing you can do is stick to protein. Start your day with protein. Don't give in. Don't give in to your cravings. It'll be very, very nasty for a few days because your body will withdraw from all the sugar that you've been eating, but you can do it. And after a few days of not having any sugar, not having processed foods, you'll start feeling better and you'll start realizing the impact that just a little bit of sugar has on your system.
Yogurts today, blueberry, strawberry yogurt, they have more sugar ounce for ounce than Coca-Cola.
And I've talked about that too before, and I know I've paused a lot on here. Like I said, I'm going to pause a lot, but I told that story before where I bought a bunch of yogurt thinking it was diet food, because you think yogurt, diet, you're going to lose weight eating some yogurt. Yogurt's a good snack, right? But I was getting the full sugar kind, fruit on the bottom, whatever. And so I went and I grabbed a yogurt and it felt so good. So I just felt amazing. It's like, oh, I need another yogurt. I went and grabbed another one. And in the span of an entire afternoon, I ate an entire 6-pack of yogurt because there's so much freaking sugar in there that it kept me going back for more. And that's the same way that all sugar acts on your body. There's times where I'd have a bowl of cereal when I was younger. I'd need to have a second bowl, not because I was still hungry, but because the way the sugar reacted on my body and just made me go back for more. Oh, I need another bite. I need another bite. Oh, it's so good. Like just the buzz you get from eating sugar, and then you crash a little bit later, and it makes you irritable and depressed and anxiety ridden and all this other stuff. So
kids are eating fruit chews today. Kids, are you aware they're not fruit? They're not fruit. It's sugar and fruit flavoring. There was a study done in rats that showed chronic sugar consumption creates as much damage to the brain as abuse done in childhood. Teens are drinking less soda today, but they've replaced it with sports drinks and energy drinks. These drinks are shamefully being touted as healthy, yet they are a key part of the obesity epidemic that's spreading today. And all of you parents out there, and grandparents and loved ones, right? The birthday parties, right? The 6-year-olds, they just ate their cake and ice cream, and now they're running around like a bunch of screaming banshees. This behavior is a direct result of the sugar intake. This happens in schools every day. And the sad thing is, we're still doing it as adults. Pasta and beer, pizza and beer, pasta and bread, it's the same effect. According to the World Health Organization, there are over 420 million people today with type 2 diabetes, and that number just keeps going up. In America alone, if our eating habits do not change in the next few decades, that will be 1 in 3.
I mean, that's why I keep fighting so hard. It's because I realize where we're going as a country. And a lot of these fat activists are like really leading the charge in making America fatter. So I get a lot of people like Big T, why don't you just worry about yourself? Why do you keep covering these people? It's like they're dangerous. I mean, they come across as being all about positivity and love and happiness and love yourself. And that all looks really good on the surface, but they're dangerous. And they're dragging people along with them and harming them. And then the more they get more popular, the more people that follow along with their message, the more people who are getting type 2 diabetes, the more people who are dying. And like she said, there are more people dying from obesity or more sugar related, but it's the same thing sort of. The more people are dying from this than car accidents. And it's 100% preventable. We're not talking about type 1 diabetes, we're talking about type 2 diabetes. It's 100% preventable. And yet, we're not even willing to look at our own diet. And you don't like me talking about these other people because it makes you feel bad. Because it's all about feelings today. It's not about the facts that you're seeing here on the screen. It's all about feelings. Because you're addicted. You're so sucked into that toxic relationship that you don't even realize what you're doing to yourself.
That means it will likely be somebody you know and love. Or it might be you. We have all become so brainwashed to think that sugar on a daily basis is okay. Frankly, it's reminiscent of when doctors used to endorse smoking. Remember that? The posters of the athletes and the bikes smoking? Listen to this. This makes me so angry. I volunteer at diabetes camps, and so I see kids and what they eat every day, every summer. And the standard recommendations given to children diagnosed with type 1 diabetes today is that they can eat as much sugar as they want and just take more insulin for it. The blood sugar fluctuations that this way of eating causes to their precious growing bodies it's a medical tragedy. And it's devastating because the solution is so simple. We need to eat less sugar. Now, I gotta admit, I love cookies. So I'm not talking about never eating sugar again. Let's be real here, right? When I work with patients...
I mean, that's an important distinction to make. Like, we're not gonna cut this stuff out of our diet 100%. So you might be saying, oh, Big T, you're just asking way too much of us. It's like, I myself have not cut diet or sugar out of my diet 100%. Like, nobody's really going to do that. Even if you're doing strict keto, like, there's going to be a time when you're going to run back to some mashed potatoes, or you're going to want that piece of cake on your birthday or something like that. Like, it's going to happen.
I teach them the 80-20 principle. 80% of the time, keep your food in a healthy, wholesome choices. And then put your sugar in the 20%. Put it over here. The highly processed carb foods, 20% over here. But we've got it switched, right? We're kind of like 20 healthy and 80 sugar. Our future depends on a healthy society. Your contribution is needed in today's crazy world. Sugar is never going to get you feeling your best.
Never.
And sugar is never going to help motivate you have a great day. Look at Pam. So I ask you this. Would you like to have more energy? Would you like to have less anxiety, a better memory, more productivity, better skin, better sleep, more joy? Reducing sugar and highly processed carbohydrate foods from your diet could change your life. I see it every day with patients I've helped all around the world. Now, some of you might be feeling resistant, like, oh, I'm just overwhelmed. It's like making a big change. I feel paralyzed. Or you've tried it before and you've failed. Have no fear. I have you covered. Because when you want to make a big change in your life, you have to start with just small steps.
I talk about that all the time. Like somebody told me the other day, Big T, you're just impatient with people. You're like, you demand change right away. I'm like, when have I ever said that? I've often said many times, it's like we got to start slow. We got to start making some small steps to remove some things from our diet. We got to take some time. We got to research what we're eating. We have to research what we're going to start eating. We have to take our time to progress into that. But what I really don't tolerate is the people who make the excuses, who just sort of act like, oh, it's nothing I can do. My obesity is just not the result of anything I'm doing. I'm just fat. That's who I am. Like those are the people who I might seem like I'm impatient towards because they're failing to realize that they are causing their obesity and that the problems that they're dealing with when it comes to their obesity is 100% preventable if they lose weight, including type 2 diabetes. So yeah, if you're on a weight loss program, if you're on a journey like I am, like I slip up, I know you're going to slip up. We can be patient with each other and help each other out and encourage one another. But if you're going to be on the fat activist side and act like there's nothing you can do to change your life, I have no patience for you. I have no respect for you. Like you are leading people down the dangerous path. Not only are you killing yourself, but you're killing everybody who's following you and listening to your message.
That's all you need. So I've got you covered. I have 3 steps for you to try over the next, you can apply them today. If you're feeling really motivated, try all 3. Number 1, have protein for breakfast. Start your day with...
I'm going to start doing this. I think I'm going to whip up a couple eggs in the morning before breakfast, and I think that'll help me out at work.
Balanced blood sugar level. Then you're giving your body that balanced energy. Trust me, you don't want to be like this. I do it a lot. I do my best to avoid it, but have protein for breakfast. Number 2, next time you're feeling really, you just want a sweet, you just had a meal, but now you're like, I want something more after dinner or afternoon. You want a sugary snack. Grab a glass of water first. Being dehydrated actually can feel like being hungry. And so why don't you try water first? You'll probably feel more energized because a 5% decrease in hydration can correlate to a 20% decrease in energy.
I mean, I've often felt that way, that I don't drink enough water, and so I wonder if a lot of the hunger that I feel, especially after dinner, is I didn't have enough water that day. So I've never tried to do the water. Like I never thought that, okay, I'm hungry, maybe I should drink something. Like most people don't do that, but we should try to drink more water.
So you'll have more energy, and you probably won't need that sugary snack that will only pop you up for a little bit and then drop you. Okay, number 3, there are so many wonderful low-carb replacements now for high-carb foods. Pizza crust is made out of cauliflower, pasta can be made out of zucchini noodles, and I love cookies, so I make chocolate chip cookies out of almond flour and stevia as my sweetener. There's so many great ones out there. In conclusion, what I want to leave you with is this.
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing keto before, like, there are so many different substitutions that you can make. My sister, for my birthday, would often make me fat bombs and stuff like that, and they were pretty sweet, and they tasted good, but they were made out of stevia, or things made out of almond flour, or things like that. Like, they are good substitutions that you can use to cut carbohydrates out of your diet.
Isn't already obvious. Reducing sugar in your diet could be life-changing for you. Life-changing. Please, you have beta cells, protect them. You have the knowledge, and you have the power. And when you reduce the sugar in your diet, you'll be using your meals as they were intended to fuel you into greatness. Thank you.
All right, yeah, I thought that was a very interesting video. And it's very true, everything that she said about sugar. Like, most of the obesity, most of the weight gain out there is not from eating fat. It's not because you were just born fat and that's who you are. It's because you're eating an enormous amount of sugar. And what your body, like she said, when you have all this abundance of sugar running through your system, like your body sends cells, insulin, I believe it was, to go and clean it up and picks it up like dump trucks, and it stores it in your muscles, and it stores it on your body. Like whatever you don't burn throughout the day is stored. All of this is stored energy, which is originally came in the form of sugar or carbohydrates, and carbohydrates turn into sugar. So your body's like, okay, I have this abundance of energy, I'm going to store it for later. So the way you lose weight is just the opposite, right? It's like, oh, you didn't get enough energy in today, so I'm going to take some of what's stored for later and start using that, and that's how you lose weight. You do it by calorie restriction, and you do it by cutting sugar and processed foods out of your diet. That's how you lose weight. And everybody's going to lose weight that way. If you have PCOS, if you are on some sort of medication, all these things that might make it more difficult to lose weight, calorie restriction and cutting carbohydrates and processed foods out of your diet is going to help you do that. You could still do it. You could still try working out a little more. Be a little more active and less sedentary. Like all these things working together can help you lose weight and change your life. It is not just about the weight loss. Like even if you're a little bit overweight, maybe you are sort of a normal size, but you just eat way too much sugar, and you notice that there's a drop in your productivity. You notice that you're not feeling so good. Maybe you kind of just are I don't know, not feeling that well. You're lagging behind. Maybe you have a little anxiety or depression. It might be your diet. You don't know. And the one thing, you've tried all the pills, you've gone to the doctor's office, and they've done all the stuff that they could do, but the one thing you probably haven't tried is to change your diet and seeing if that might do something. So, I don't know. It's definitely worth trying. I'm going to try to do some different stuff. When I get up for morning to go to work, I might make me a couple eggs, and that might be a good kickstart for the rest of the day. Maybe I'll do better at work. Maybe I won't be in as much pain. I don't know. But it's worth checking out. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I love you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you.